But joining me right now, we have California Congressman Eric Swalwell. He sits on the Judiciary and Homeland Security Committees. He is running for governor of California. Good to see you again, Congressman. So the Democrats are demanding an immediate war powers vote, saying that the Constitution gives Congress alone the power to declare war. Many Democrats are calling this operation illegal, and they say the administration failed to lay out its rationale for military strikes and the aftermath. How will this war powers vote play out?
It is illegal. We should vote against it. We shouldn't get caught in the process argument here. This is a values argument. We don't just lob missiles into other countries when we are not provoked, attacked, and have no plan for what comes next. I would like to also make the point that ending autocracy in Iran and growing one here in the United States cannot be the plan. We have been shown zero evidence that anything changed in Iran from last year when the president did not come to Congress and took a strike on Iran. And also, when you take a step back, do we think that these guys are smarter than the last gang that tried to go into the Middle East without any plans? And as somebody who sits on the Homeland Security Committee, I'm also thinking about threats to our homeland now. And the two individuals who are responsible for protecting the homeland, Kash Patel, Kristi Noem, my God, we are in trouble if those are the two who are protecting the homeland, as the president just launched an unjustified war into a region he knows nothing about.
So what are your expectations then for a War Powers Act? And if it were to pass, wouldn't the president just veto it? And if that happens, again, a lot of ifs here, what kind of Congress leverage do you have?
I expect it will pass. It's saying that he has to come to Congress. But we should make it clear what we would do if he asked. And that's why I'm saying the answer has to be hell no. And by the way, people say that I never agree with Donald Trump. That's not true. Donald Trump has previously said a president would start a war with Iran because he's weak and ineffective. I agree with that. This guy has lied to the American people about everything he promised he would do. And politicians break promises all the time. He said he would lower prices on day one. Instead, he put in his idiotic tariff policy that has raised prices. He said that he would get rid of wars. And now here we are, just a year into the administration. We have two new wars on the map in Venezuela and Iran. He has done the exact opposite this entire presidency of what he told Americans he was going to do.
He said the threat from Iran was imminent, and a senior administration official said Secretary of State Marco Rubio briefed Congress's Gang of Eight, I believe one he was unable to reach prior to the attack. And he said that Iran was ready to preemptively launch ballistic missiles against U.S. forces in the Middle East. Is there evidence Iran posed an immediate threat to the U.S. and that this is not a war of choice?
No evidence that has been presented to anyone in Congress that I know. And I even heard a member of the Gang of Eight earlier today, Senator Warner, also say that that is not true. Look, these guys have been caught lying to the press thousands of times. They've been caught lying to judges dozens of times. They are not to be trusted. This is a new war. And if the president is being honest about it, he should at least give back the Nobel Peace Prize that he stole from somebody else.
So Trump has implored Iranians to overthrow their government after the assault, saying that police and Revolutionary Guard forces should, quote, peacefully merge with the Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. Look, it is challenging to envision hardline security officials will somehow team up with the same people they were gunning down in the streets just weeks ago. Is it clear the administration has a plan for what comes next in Iran? Could an even more extreme government be next?
They have no plan. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into. This has never worked. In fact, it was the U.S. intervention with the Mossadegh administration back in the 50s when the CIA helped overthrow that government. The Shah came in. The Shah couldn't survive. The Shah got thrown out. And now we have the hardliners who are there today. In fact, you could argue that we, by trying to involve ourselves there, have created the chaos in Iran. And so this president has no plan. He has no individuals that inspire any confidence that they can bring a better result. And of course, we want freedom and democracy for the Iranian people, but that has to come from within Iran, not from a reckless, incompetent president abroad. And by the way, China, Russia, North Korea, those are three other places with hardline leaders who who commit human rights abuses and kill innocent people in their population, but the president isn't going after them, nor should he. And that's why you don't do this unless you are provoked. And
joining us now is Connecticut Democratic Senator Chris Murphy. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have called for Congress to return to Washington and to vote on whether to try to essentially halt this military action. No war powers resolution has ever overcome a presidential veto. Why do you think you need to take one?
Well, nobody in this country is asking for war with Iran, just like months ago, no one in this country was asking for war with Venezuela. This president is intentionally tanking our economy. He's the most corrupt president in the history of our nation, and Americans want him to focus on the crises here at home. Instead, he is busy getting us involved in quagmires overseas that already are becoming deadly to American soldiers. This is a disaster. It is illegal. And the president is obligated under the Constitution to come to Congress and ask for an authorization of military force. He wouldn't get that authorization if he asked for it. Congress wouldn't vote to give him the permission to do it, but he's obligated to come to Congress.
The administration would argue Venezuela was a limited military operation. They're not explaining to the public yet, beyond that Twitter video, exactly what the plan is here. But the president has tweeted in a way describing this as an open-ended conflict until peace is achieved. You're using the term war. You do consider this to be a war.
Oh, of course. We're engaged in regular, ongoing military strikes that has already killed American soldiers with the goal of regime change. If that is not war, what is? Mm-hmm. Now, the president has said that the goal is regime change, and the goal is to eliminate Iran's missile program and their nuclear program. He is not going to succeed in either of those endeavors. His intelligence agencies have already told him that the most likely outcome is that hardline members of the IRGC replace the current leadership. So we're not going to get a democracy. We're going to get an even worse Iranian leadership. We already know that you can't bomb their nuclear program out of existence. He told us last year that he'd obliterated the program. And then apparently over the course of the last year, they'd gotten back to within a week. So we're going to have Americans dying, and the end result is going to be hardline leadership continues in Iran, and we don't get rid of their nuclear program. That's a moral and strategic disaster for the country.
Well, you're summarizing the administration's views in perhaps a more succinct way than they have, because we haven't even heard a clear public accounting of the state of their nuclear program. Rubio said they weren't enriching. Witkoff said something else. But I want to ask you about something in regard to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, where you sit. The State Department has issued a worldwide caution alert to all Americans. They have set up a task force that they say they're going to try to figure out how to help the Americans who are trapped in the Middle East and throughout the world. But the U.S. Embassy in Israel said they're closed and they can't help evacuate. If you're an American abroad or a family member, what should you be doing right now?
Well, I think you can call your member of Congress or your senator. We will do whatever we can to help. But it's no secret that this administration has no plan for the chaos that is unfolding right now in the Middle East. Those scenes that you showed at the beginning of the program are frightening. Violence is not contained just to the Middle East. It's spilling over into Pakistan and other parts of the world. And it's no secret that our allies in the region, with the exception of the right-wing government in Israel, had begged us not to take this action because they knew that the spillover, which is now looking like regional conflict, was the likely outcome. So again, what are we getting out of this? We're not getting regime change to a democracy. We're not going to eliminate their nuclear program. We are going to have regional war breaking out. It won't be the billionaire kids of Donald Trump and his buddies that die. It's going to be the children of middle class and poor families all across this country who are going to die for a war of choice, a war of vanity, an illegal war.
Well, we are going to hope for more briefings to Congress or engagement with the press to explain some of these things. When we are talking about the Americans, though, around the world right now, there's also from the FBI and Homeland Security concern about cyber vulnerabilities and potential threats to infrastructure. They've put out alerts about this. Given the current situation, Republicans are calling on Democrats to consider stopping the position you've taken, which is to halt some funding to Homeland Security. Do you feel you need to reconsider this position?
So the Republicans are saying that because they launched an illegal, disastrous war in Iran, we should give them permission to continue using ICE to murder American citizens, to allow them to get the funding to tear gas schools. No, we need to stand up for the American citizens that ICE is murdering, the kids that they are terrorizing. They should stop this illegal war, and they should stop ICE from